Hey there, speculators. It is Rod, the Futures Fanatic. Welcome back, you fanatics, to the Futures Fanatic channel here on YouTube. It's part of TDG, that's Traders Dev Group, where we provide education for active futures traders and self-directed investors. Okay, in tonight's video, I'm going to be talking about futures prop programs, proprietary trading. These are firms that will give you access to their capital to trade, to make money, to begin to advance or begin your career in trading should you so wish. And we're going to get into it right after these messages. Okay, super. So what I did was by the way, you might want to strap in. I think this video is going to go a little long, the ideal attention span. I find that 55% of people that watch my videos have not subscribed. So hit that like button, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. You know you want to come back and hear more, or maybe you can watch the rest of this video at another time. Anyhow, most people watch about 3 minutes, and you're supposed to make your videos about 8 to 10 minutes, according to the YouTube channel creator guide or whatever. This one's going to go a little longer because I want to cover these in a little bit more depth. So what I'm going to do tonight is talk about 5 different futures prop trading firms. These are for retails, for home gamers like you and I. If you are familiar with futures prop trading or prop trading at all, you will know these firms. Okay, my opinions might not correspond exactly with your experience. In fact, what I love is if you already have done anything with any of these programs, leave a little comment below as well so we can engage and get some flow going here on this topic. So anyway, I Googled futures prop, and actually this full-scale trading came up. It's an ad. It's one that I'm actually not familiar with. So as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to find out about them. Maverick, I know that's not featured in this video. And then as you scroll down, I just want to point out that it's interesting. The firms that I'm going to cover tonight don't even really Google very well. Now, your results may vary if you put in futures prop trading, or maybe I should have searched for something a little bit different. But one of the things I do want to point out is when you go to top 40 proprietary futures firms on Futures Mag right here, let's just do that. And I like Futures Mag. It's a great online resource. It's not great. It's good. It's okay. It's okay. Says, what is a prop trading firm? That's fine, but as soon as it starts to get into them, these are mostly ones in Chicago that are not really all that retail friendly, okay? So this is not the list that you want to work off of, all right? So trust the Futures Fanatic here. I got you covered. We'll cover 5 of the more popular ones and the ones that will probably get you where you need to go if you want to research these further yourself. So let's start with the first, the Mac Daddy, the beginning one. It's called TopStep. TopStep.com. If you spend any time on YouTube or even watch my channel, you're going to see plenty of ads for TopStep. They've been around since I believe 2012 or 2013, which is they were sort of the first in this new game of making retail futures prop trading virtually and remotely much more accessible. They fund traders all over the world. That's another thing I'd like to point out, is that all of these programs are available for people pretty much in most countries in the world. If you happen to be in one of those bad 10 that are blacklisted everywhere, you probably can't trade, but in just about every other part of the world, you can go through these programs and you can get access to regulated CME types of products. Okay, that's important to point out. This is not a video to just necessarily compare futures prop to Forex prop trading or crypto prop trading, but I do want to point out that while some of those programs, and by the way, TopStep Trader has a Forex program, the reason I'm going to focus on futures, it's the Futures Fanatic channel, but also it really helps to work with firms that are at least trading products that are regulated by US-based exchanges, okay? So there is nothing wrong with FTMO, which is a very popular Forex prop firm. There's nothing wrong with firms like eToro, which offer copy trading and things like that. But the Forex and crypto markets are still a little bit of the wild, wild west. So if your major concern or thoughts are these companies are for real? Am I going to get paid if I make it through the evaluation? Are they quote unquote a scam? None of these firms are a scam. I have passed all of these programs with the exception of one. I'll point that one out. I've received payouts from all of these firms, and while I'm in a fortunate position where I don't live off of or trade the accounts that I have with some of these firms all that often, I can assure you that looking to supplement or complement or improve your trading, these are good programs to go through, and they're going to pay you if you are supposed to get paid. Show me my money.
Show me the money.
So anyhow, TopStep Trader, they actually introduced this new thing called Coach T, which is the beginning of some of their sort of I wouldn't call it AI, but just further analysis of some of the trading stats. I've taken a look at it. It's kind of cool. It's basic trading stats that they're offering here. So pros of TopStep Trader, they're the largest. They have very, very good customer support. They have a great group of contributors, if you will, ex-pit traders mostly, that produce a lot of content that's very, very useful. And you can't go wrong if you want to start your research on TopStep, because most of the programs are based on TopStep. There are two drawbacks. Well, let me mention one other definite benefit, which is that they have a relationship with a firm called TradingView, which I talk about a lot on this channel, and TradingView will allow you to trade through TradingView if you'd like. Okay, this is a topic for another day. Okay, but TradingView has its own platform, web-based as well as mobile, which is fantastic, and you can connect using something like TradingView. So I have TradingView connected up right here. So that's a definite advantage for TopStep, okay? Because all the other programs, you're pretty much going to be limited to just rhythmic platforms or to something like Ninja. Ninja is fantastic as well, but Ninja is not really beginner friendly. It's going to take you a little bit more time. So with TopStep, you have great support. You have a firm that's been around for a long time. You have the ability to use a web-based platform and also access your combine, they call the evaluation, on a mobile device. All those things are definitely advantages. Here's a drawback. You have to go through the program 2 different times. So the way these programs work, again, I won't spend I don't know if I can even find it here, what we offer. Let's go to what we offer, futures, and I'm not going to pause the video. All right, they call it a combine, okay? So they all work very similar to this, so I'll spend a little time here so we don't have to do it on the others. You basically choose a buying power size. I'm going to highly, highly suggest that if you're new to this at all, and when you're ready, I have videos on this channel talking about you'll know when you're ready, or other ways that you can practice before spending your money, even trying to get access to capital. Start with one of the smaller ones. You don't need to be throwing around larger amounts and then trying to get more buying power. Futures are already highly levered anyway, okay? So again, that's a personal choice, and I know some people like to think, well, hey, with $100,000 or $150,000, if I did X and did X every week or average this, I could potentially quit my job and that would be super. Now, that's very, very unlikely, at least initially in the beginning of your futures trading career. So what you want to do is just have the least expensive way to get access to these programs and the lowest bar to jump over to get into the funded trader category. So I would say this 50,000 or 30,000 is fine. You can see here you have to meet a certain profit objective. You can only lose so much money. Again, this is a demo trading account that you're working with here. But here's the drawback of TopStep is that they make you go through this twice. So if it says here $3,000 profit target, you have to hit $3,000 once, and then you have to go ahead and do it again. Okay, this is not a video where I'm going to go into too much more than that, but none of the other programs require that anymore. Now, there's probably some pros and cons even to that, and I can assure you that it is not so that they can just make it that much harder. I think they probably have more data than any of these other firms, and they have found that it's the right combination to keep more people profitable once they do get through the program, is to make them do it twice. Many of these other programs are fantastic, and I'm going to mention them in just a moment, and you could get access to capital as little as probably 10 to 15 trading days, but the possibility that you churn or lose that account because you really didn't spend as much time on your strategy, and a lot of the time with 10 to 15 day evaluation, you can just flat out gamble your way to the profit objective and maybe just get lucky, okay? So you do have these 2 stages you have to go through. And then one other thing, a little bit of inside baseball, they allow you to trade micros in all of their programs, but they don't treat the micros as what they really are, which is 1/10 the size. Okay, so micros are 1/10 the size of a full contract. If you are not familiar with anything that I'm talking about here, hey, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notification, and that's what I'm looking to do here at Futures Fanatic, is to try to pull some of you crypto and stock traders and forex traders and who knows, investing in real estate or ostrich farms or whoever knows whatever, over to the futures markets, because they are fantastic places to learn how to speculate on shorter time frames. Okay, you're going to make the vast majority of your money from the markets as an investor, as someone who does some research, puts together a process, and invests over the long term. Okay, I'm here to say I'm a day trader, and almost all of the profits that I generate from day trading go into longer term investments. So on the flip side, if you're here speculating on stocks and crypto and Forex, there is something actually different about those instrument classes, and in my opinion, they don't set themselves up nearly as well as actively day trading futures. All right, sidebar. I sidebar all the time. The point I was making is micros are 1/10 the size of the full mini contract. You can learn more about that here on this channel. But TopStep does not treat them as such until you're actually funded, which is a bummer, meaning that if you're only allowed to trade 5 contracts, you can only trade 5 micros, and 5 micros is only half the size of a full contract. So this is the simplest way to put it, is they're just really limiting you in the types of products that you can trade because their sizing is not properly set up. I've talked to them about that. I'm not really sure why they don't fix that, because they certainly could fix it. But from right now, if you thought that you wanted to trade these programs with micros, then TopStep is probably not the right place to start. Okay, all right. But other than that, great place to learn about how these programs are set up, because pretty much every other firm that I'm going to mention has modeled it off of this. If you want to look at what the dashboard looks like once you've logged in, this is what it looks like. Rod, you just said why you shouldn't do the 150,000. I've actually have a little bit of a relationship with TopStep. I'm working on some other projects, so they have given me this, and I'm taking my darn sweetest time to kind of get through it. But anyhow, here's some of the additional stats that they're providing, and they have a really nice internal dashboard. It's updated pretty much in real time. Now, another thing I want to point out is they've added a practice account. I did another video that you can see right here where I talked about the way to pass these programs is to not start until you have practiced enough. And I gave some methods with where you could get low, for like a $250, $300 investment in a funded account for yourself. You could practice these programs for a while, kind of simulating what's going on in your own sim account before you're ready to pay the $150 or $200 or $100 a month to participate in one of these programs. They've now actually added practice accounts in most of these as well. Now you're going to be paying your monthly fee. The way these programs mostly work is you pick an account size, you pay a monthly fee until you qualify, and you have to pay that monthly fee every month. I have mentioned many times that I would really suggest that when you're ready to start, you kind of put aside mentally and financially about 3 months worth of monthly fees, and go really slow to avoid the reset, the dreaded reset, which is if you violate a rule, to continue on, you have to pay $100 in addition to the monthly fee that's going to renew on your monthly subscription. So to avoid that, you want to practice, and now these accounts do have practice accounts in them, which is pretty cool. All right, so our first one, TopStep, and I have no idea where am I at? Probably like 12 minutes in. I said it was going to be a long one. All right, let's go through the rest a little faster. Leeloo, you can go to LeelooTrading.com. Leeloo is a newer entrant. They are fantastic. Spoken and worked directly with the founders of the company. They're actually from Wyoming. They were ranchers from Wyoming. They have a lot of different choices here. The most popular is this Lilu Express, which, as I just mentioned before, I'm not a huge fan of, ripping through these things very quickly, but they do have a program where you can trade for just 10 days, 14 calendar days, usually 10 trading days. It's $7,700 to try to express your way into the $100,000 account. The thing that makes this one different is you have to meet that price, that trading objective within those 10 trading days, which is a little bit difficult, and you're definitely going to be pushing to kind of get there. So they have a lot of other different programs here. I know my face is probably blocking out some of these here, but if you can see here, it says Explode. These are just big old contracts. I'm not sure they're really necessary, but I have worked with them now for about 4 to 5 months. The support is outstanding. We have a number of different people in our trading group that have been funded, and they are slowly but steady moving through the program, and many of them have already had payouts. Here's what the inside of this looks like. It's kind of old school, okay? So drawback of Lilu is they don't yet have all of the fancy sort of dashboard stuff, and while their support is good, they can get overwhelmed, especially when they're doing specials. Okay, speaking of specials or discounts or things like that, hopefully this video will live on for a little while, and I'll constantly update the descriptions below or the comments with coupons and codes and affiliate links of some kind that can make sure that when you're ready, if you're participating in one of these programs, you can try to come back to this channel. That's why you want to like this video, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications to be aware of when we're talking about these topics and the next time we post, because when you're ready, you don't want to pay full price. So just come in and get, most of the time these discounts are anywhere between 20%, and you can probably find a link in the description below or look for the comments. Anyhow, Lilu here is pretty simple in terms of their back end, so you're not going to have a whole lot going on here. And Lilu is essentially, you're going to be working with NinjaTrader. Okay, so NinjaTrader is a platform that is probably the best retail trading platform for trading futures. In fact, I have a video that I talked about my 3 favorite platforms, and those happen to be Tradevate, NinjaTrader, and Sierra coming kind of in third. But Lilu, one you should be aware of. Okay, the programs are going to look the same. You have between 10 days and your 30-day period to get through these particular programs. If you are already familiar with these, one of the things I want to point out about this video, even though it's running long, is that it's mostly geared towards folks that aren't really intimately familiar with these, because I'm not going to get into all the details about the funding programs and how the funding programs work, because they all work a little bit differently. And frankly, that shouldn't be your initial concern or your initial focus. Your initial focus should be, hey, which of these seems to make sense when I'm ready to go forward? Do I want to trade on a web-based platform like Tradevate with TopStep Trader and have access to a mobile device so I could maybe close out a position that I'm in if I'm standing in line in Starbucks? Or do I want to work with NinjaTrader, and do I want the access to a program where I could get funded a lot quicker and take a shot at getting through these programs a lot faster? Those kinds of decisions, all right? So Lilu is another one to be aware of. Now let's go into EarnToTrade. Okay, EarnToTrade. Program looks very similar. Again, you're going to be working mostly with Ninja, with Rhythmic. I'm going to try to make some videos here about how to connect NinjaTrader to Rhythmic and get access to all these programs. But truthfully, they all do a pretty good job of sending out emails that explain how it works. But you're going to be spending a little bit of time figuring it out on your own if you don't subscribe to the Futures Fanatic channel, because it takes a little while to understand how to get set up with these things. But anyhow, now EarnToTrade is based in Europe, and if you are outside the United States, I believe they have multilingual support, and I know certainly Spanish, Portuguese, I think Hungarian, French, a few others. So they're funding people throughout the world. The founders are in Europe, or the person that bought this company. If you're familiar, there was a small little scandal with EarnToTrade at one point in the past. It's well behind them, but one of the co-founders that was associated with the company ran into some definite issues with regulators around a different company that he had. But he is no longer involved in this firm at all. Customer support is fantastic. The back end is fantastic. So here's what the back end looks like when you're logged in. You can see that they have both NinjaTrader as well as a web-based desktop application as well called Finamark, which I haven't really worked with very much. Now, what you get with EarnToTrade is you also get lessons and guides, a really well-rounded back-end portal to work off of, okay? And you can also trade off of a simulator as well. So when you sign up, you're given both a sim account and you're given a monitored account. So you can kind of trade them in conjunction. Of course, any profits that you make in your pure simulated account, both are simulated account, but one is monitored that you're going to use to try to get access to the funding capital. The other you can just use to practice, which is kind of nice. Now, if you're familiar with Ninja, you can always set up your own $50,000 sim account once you have a data connection. But that's another thing to point out about these programs is they give you everything you need to get started. Okay, a platform, a data connection, a sim account, some training, everything you need to get started. It's all in one place. If you kind of do this on your own, you're like, well, why would I need this? You know, I got $5,000 sitting around. I can watch some YouTube videos with some bozo, like me, telling you about trading strategy or how you can go about learning how to trade the futures markets on your own, or you could read a book, or you can go to a webinar, or whatever the case may be. But there's nothing like good old-fashioned screen time. And the fact that these programs put this all together for you, rather than you having to choose a broker, fund an account, learn how data and all that kind of stuff works, real benefit of looking at these particular programs. So EarnToTrade, another really good one. Okay, OneUpTrader. At one point, this was my favorite, and I had the largest account from them. I had a $250,000 funded account. They have a funding partner that I kind of like and have done other things with as well. Downside of OneUpTrader, you can see in here, they have a decent portal and stuff. And you can see here funded. So I'm funded trader with this firm. I don't have the account anymore. I don't know why this badge is still here, because I don't have the account anymore. We just mutually agreed to not proceed because they were requiring a certain amount of trading on a monthly basis without having, or I was going to have to pay full CME data fees, and I just didn't want to deal with that. But we have probably 50 or so people in our trading group that had gone through OneUp, because it was the one I was promoting initially for a while, and definitely recommending back in the beginning of the pandemic in March. We had, I think, 50 or 60 people get through the program. So OneUp is one to take a look at as well. Pros with OneUp is, I guess, sort of bigger accounts, but really the cons are starting to outweigh it. Their support is not super all the time, and I personally ran into issues with their funding partner. Not that they didn't pay out, I just felt that some of their particular funding processes were not ideal. So, but I would still say it's definitely something to take a look at and consider. The program is going to look very similar to EarnToTrade and very similar to Lilu. Okay, you're going to use the NinjaTrader platform, so be aware of OneUpTrader. By the way, TopStep here is based in the U.S. They're based out of Chicago. Lilu is based out of essentially Wyoming, if you will. EarnToTrade, like I said, is based in Europe, so they're European-based, if any of these decisions matter. And OneUpTrader, their funding partners in the UK and Abu Dhabi or Dubai, I believe, and I couldn't even tell you where the actual OneUpTrader is based, but I know it's not US. And then the final here is UProfitTrader. So this is a newer one that I have come across, and this is the one that came highly recommended by a number of traders that I had worked with almost 4 or 5 years ago. And I trust them so much that I decided to put it on the list because, again, a lot of this has a little bit of copycat action. Look, the programs look very, very similar. So why would you go with UProfit? Well, UProfit is being very, very aggressive with some of these programs. So, for instance, if you check the description below, at the time you're watching this video, I don't know if they'll be offering anymore, but since you know that it existed at one point, you might want to ask about it, which is they're offering like 20 or 30% off lifetime. And lifetime meaning if you buy this coupon and buy one of the programs for as long as you're part of them, instead of paying $160, you pay like $125 or $110, which is a pretty good deal. So you might want to check the description below, so you're lowering your costs. Other than that, the program looks very much the same. The login here, I haven't done anything with them. I have an account, but I haven't done anything particularly with them. I have heard that they have probably the best micro program available. I might need to do some further research on that. And these guys are based out of Sugar Land, Texas. Okay, so they're based out of Sugar Land, Texas. All right, so again, really quickly, TopStep Trader, TopStep.com, Leeloo Trading.com, EarnToTrade, EarnToTrade.com, OneUpTrader, OneUpTrader.com, and UProfitTrader, UProfitTrader.com. I know that that's cut off the screen. That's why I decided to point that out. One last thing that I wanted to mention when it comes to prop is we are talking about prop trading for futures. If you are interested in stocks and options, okay, it's a whole nother ball game. And the two probably leading firms, one would be T3 Trading, which I have a relationship with. I used to be a contributor to T3 Trading. The other being SMB Capital, and there's also Maverick and a few others. The drawbacks of stocks and options stocks and options prop trading is that once you go through the evaluation, you do also have to take a Series 57 exam, okay? Many of them also require a capital contribution, which is a whole nother ball of wax, where you have to put in $5,000, $10,000, $25,000, and they're providing leverage. And you have what's called first risk loss, which means that some of your actual capital is potentially at risk. Okay, so there are definitely advantages and benefits to stocks and options with the right type of backers, and those would be two firms I would look into: SMB Capital, T3 Trading. Those would be the ones if you're interested in stock. But stock and options limited to U.S. residents, as far as I know. You're also going to have to take a test, a Series 57, and you'd probably have to contribute some capital. None of those is the case with futures. With futures prop, you can be anywhere in the world. You don't have to contribute any capital except for the money that you invest when you participate in the programs, and then you don't have to take any kind of exam, if I already mentioned that. So futures prop, probably a better place to start if you're brand new to this whole thing and you're like, hey, I'm just tired of trading. Last point I'll make here. Look, there's nothing wrong with running up a small account, starting with $500, $1,000, $5,000 and running it up. But it's a pain in the ass to trade with a small account, right? Why not take a tiny bit of money and practice, get involved in one of these programs, and have access to potentially a lot more buying power with all the support, technology, tools, and backing that these firms are using to support their traders. All right, we will leave it there for now. If you have any other strong thoughts or feelings about this, please leave it in the comments below. If you know of another futures prop trading firm that I have not mentioned, there are a few that I'm aware of that I didn't mention in this video, Apteros and a few others, please put them in the comments below. But it will be a video for another day about Forex and crypto prop trading, and I just mentioned stock prop trading. So let's keep the conversation to what we do here at Futures Fanatic and keep it to futures. All right, 25 minutes. If you made it all the way here to the end, tell me you did make it to the end. I don't know, and I'll put a love on your comment. It'd be awesome. All right, everybody, this is Rod with the Futures Fanatic, reminding you to stay green and trade like you mean it. Thanks.